All right, so looks like we have our players ready and loaded. Here in the top left corner, we have none other than Liquid HerO.
Ah!
And the bottom right, we have Slayer's Ryung. Now, Andre is motioning me.
All right, so Liquid HerO is actually, sorry, I have the wrong one. But Liquid HerO is going to be spawning over here in the mid right-hand position as the blue Protoss. Mid left-hand position, we have the red Terran, which is Slayer's Ryung.
All right, well, basically, you know, this is a really interesting map for lots of play. We've seen a lot of interesting turnouts here on dual site specifically. Now, Andre, you know, Bitter was actually talking to us about why he doesn't actually like dual site on a personal level, but explain, because you chose the map pool, explain what you want to do with dual site, because you said it's a map that has unexplored potential.
I think dual site hasn't been played enough. That's honestly what I think, just because it wasn't on ladder ever. And when you don't have a map on ladder, really the amount of games that you have on it is pretty limited. It's limited to just tournaments. Now, we have seen tournament play with it, but people really haven't experimented as much as, let's say, Metalopolis, Shattered Temple, Tal'Darim Altar, those types of maps. So I feel like this map in particular can be explored a little bit more. People have been playing the 2-base, 3-base aggression style for quite a long time, but we haven't really seen macro play coming out from any of the players. I think it is a potential on this map.
All right, so we do see immediately that HerO actually scouted pretty early here, and he does see that the SCV is walling off. Now, Andre, denying that information to Protoss, that's definitely very frustrating, especially me as a Protoss player. I realize I don't know anything what Ryung is doing, so he could be pulling out all kinds of strategies, as especially he wants to see if there's any gases taken, but he doesn't see anything at all.
It's interesting. Normally when you do this as Terran, you go for some sort of fast expansion. You get the command center on the high ground. And normally this is a tell for Protoss. It's like, okay, I know generally what you're doing. You get the supply depot pretty early, but that's not going to happen this time around. He is getting a gas behind this. And look, that a reactor starts up. What is it going to do over here? It's another barracks.
Well, we've seen actually a huge revitalization of 2 racks openings where you go for concussive pretty early and just do a little light push, because a lot of Protosses have been opening 1 gate expand, and you know, HerO still hasn't seen much of anything here, so for the most part he has to be forced to play a little bit safe. You can see immediately that he's getting a Stalker out chrono boosted, and that's just pretty much because he wants to be able to have map control and see if he can poke up the ramp to see anything worthwhile.
Yeah, the question is, what does he do after this? You can see a second gas is not being taken, so this lends itself more towards some sort of fast expansion. You can see that he's saving up a ton of minerals, so yes, it will be a fast expansion. I think HerO reads from this, I'm going against a fast expansion as well. I'm going to fast expand. Unfortunately for him, he's going against, wow, look at this, a 2 racks, but a second refinery follow-up. This is very surprising.
Okay, well, I mean, Ryung, again, he's not that confident in his Terran versus Protoss, and everyone knows that as the game progresses, it becomes progressively harder to kill a Protoss from a Terran perspective, and look at this. We see a really fast second gas from HerO rather than 2 gate follow.
Yes, that's pretty brutal. Normally when you go a fast expansion, you get 2 additional gateways and then a robo and an assimilator at the same time. This time around, we have Liquid HerO going for the second assimilator, meaning he wants to go pretty tech heavy. You're going to see him get maybe a lot more sentries. That's one alternate. Or he can go for, you know, a quick robo. And if he goes 1 gate robo after fast expanding, he's going to be in a lot of trouble going up against a 2 racks push. It's not going to be a robotics facility, but still, it will be a little bit more difficult since these gateways are just about 20-30 seconds later than they should be.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to naturally be leaning more towards that, but the Stalker does get picked off. But HerO saw a lot of Marines. Now, keep in mind, actually, let's check his vision. I don't think he actually saw that much information again, so he just saw Marines. Now, this is a very big sign of some kind of 1-1-1 play, but actually Ryung has 2 barracks behind it, so he's actually going something deceiving, as he is getting Stim as his first choice of upgrade from that tech
This
lab.
will be some sort of 1-base play, obviously. It's a variation of the 1-1-1, a very, very delayed factory. Yeah. But he has a lot of upgrades in his Marines and his Marauders. That'll be very helpful. Of course, Stim. Combat Shields is probably going to be researched, and he will get these siege tanks. There's the siege mode. He might actually push out with 2 tanks, just go from there and try to do as much damage. We'll see if that works, because he's giving HerO a ton of time for his 1 expansion to actually start yielding him additional units.
Now, I like a couple small things. Ryung, he's being very, very frugal right now. His mule was about to take the last batch of minerals, but the mule would not actually make it back to his command center, so we actually let it expire. HerO, you know, a lot of Protosses are wondering, Andre, how do I hold off this 1-1-1 push? They died to it so many times, especially Marine tank variants. So what does HerO need to do right now to stay alive?
First thing you need to do is identify what is going on. HerO has a good indication that this is a 1-base all-in. I think he wants to stay as far away from sentries as possible. Stay in this count and don't go anymore. Get Zealots, get Stalkers, and start chrono boosting the crap out of your gateways. Right now, HerO isn't chrono boosting just yet. What is he doing? He's adding on an additional gateway. That's about it. I think he's scared of some sort of Banshee tech. And that's why he has the Stalkers and his Observers over here. But no, it is not going to be that. Marines and a single siege tank are pushing out now, looking to do a lot of damage. Well,
the starport is just finishing, so Ryung eventually wants to incorporate. Oh, a nice pullback! And actually, he denies a lot of information. That was very, very slick there from Ryung to make sure not to alert HerO. But of course, the probe at the natural sees no expansion, so HerO knows something's up. His Observer is going to see the entire army. Has to be careful not to lose it, though. And HerO immediately pulls back. Great moves here.
Yeah, so Ryung doesn't want to push just yet. You can see on that the production tick count, 1 medevac and combat shields is almost finished. He wants to wait for those 2 upgrades to hit, or rather that 1 upgrade and the medevac to hit, because those are the ones that give him just such a huge burst in his quality of units. Of course, all those Marines benefit from that +10 extra life.
Yes, that +10 extra life is huge. It's an extra Stalker hit, so it's very important for you to be able to get that upgrade and wait for it. Don't push out prematurely. And we do see that Immortal is almost out here, but HerO wants to wait for that second one because, again, Immortal is so important to absorb that initial tank blow before engaging the Marines with high DPS.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see what happens here. Actually, the engagement might start. He's going to stim up a few units. It's going to try to bait some force shields, but no force shields go up right there. But I'm wondering why he went so many sentries, because normally, you know, sentries are pretty useless in this early game stage unless you're going, well, you need 1 or 2, I should say, for that Guardian Shield. But other than that, you don't want to really force shield anytime.
Well, also, if he could protect the ramp, you saw he was trying to see if he could cut off the units from moving up the ramp, but he didn't get an opportunity because Ryung took a good position. Oh, the tank gets sight on the high ground, and Immortal takes an unnecessary hit. Now, this is a weird angle for HerO. Does he try to hit from the high ground and the low ground at the same time? Looks like all the SCVs are being pulled because HerO actually had a proxy pylon. Keep in mind that Probe at the natural did set up a pylon, and the Marines are being stimmed up here. Ryung trying to see if he can pick up the Immortal. He does, but HerO's moving in outside the natural. The bunkers are not up yet on him.
Very nice job. He hits, and when all those Marines go out of position, you can see the siege tanks just getting mutilated by those Immortals. And there you have it. HerO cleans up the push very convincingly. A nice job done.
Oh, the SCVs get there really late. Now, keep in mind, the reinforcement push is what makes it really deadly. It's not over yet. And so HerO has survived the first wave, but can he survive the second? His Stalker's now moving up to the higher ground. Sentries can't really protect it that much longer. One does get picked off here. The second one gets picked off, and so no more force fields. HerO forced to defend with only his Stalkers and Immortals. Of course, this is mostly, if not all, of Ryung's SCVs. That 1 tank is all that remains, but doing so much splash damage. Now, this is all about Micro. Can the Marine stim, pick off the Immortal, and can the Stalkers kite in time? This is very, very tense. Andre still can go either way.
HerO looks good, though. He still has a ton of probes still mining. On top of that, he has all of these gateways. And now there goes down the last medevac. It looks like Ryung will be cleaned up. He's not mining anymore, and there it is. GG, ladies and gentlemen. Ryung will fall in the first game here at the NASL Division number 2.
That was just fantastic control from HerO, especially in those crisis situations. I've been watching his stream a lot, and HerO's just been a person that's really calm under pressure.
Yeah, it was really nice to see. I think the number one thing that helped HerO out so much was his Zealots. Those 2 Zealots that went into the main said, hey, you need to push up right now because you're not mining anymore. I get a lot better over you. I mean, he can't, obviously, Ryung can't produce at all after that. So it was sort of like, hey, go, flip the switch. And as soon as he flipped the switch, you know, he put himself out of position. You can see those Marines going up onto the high ground, and his tanks were completely vulnerable.
Yeah, a couple other things that I really liked. I loved that he kept the observer alive. Saw whenever a medevac was trying to elevate her, so he knew to warp in more units at the high ground so he can defend it. Otherwise, Marines would pick off important pylons and tech structures in the Immortal. He also was able to see that there was not a lot of SCVs with that observer and said, okay, he's all-inning, but he doesn't have his SCVs, and so that push would have been so much more deadly if he had all his SCVs with it.
Agreed. Yeah. That being said, we want to thank the people that made this possible. Of course, Epson. Go check them out on Twitter and, of course, Facebook. But we're going to go into our second match, ladies and gentlemen. After this break, don't go anywhere. Game number 2 between Ryung and Liquid HerO up after this.